Hey guys, so this week the topic is um, what were the reactions of your friends when you told them about your eating disorder? And did they treat you any differently? Kind of how did that play out? So, for the longest time, I actually kept it a secret, obviously, especially when I was really suffering from the illness. When I entered recovery, um, I was not in the place to tell any of my friends. I didn't even know what kind of support that would be. I thought that they would be really like they wouldn't believe me and that they would not be friends with me anymore, and I was really scared to tell anyone. And so for the longest time I was just like hiding it, and it was really hard working on recovery because like I would be like, "Oh my gosh, like I I had like an awesome night last night," and they'd be like, "Oh, what'd you do?" And I couldn't very well say that I had been at therapy and it was a good session. Like that just didn't work. Um, and like even once I entered recovery, I did get like kind of really sick, and like I was pulled out of class a lot. I was always in the nurses. It was ridiculous. But I actually ended up eating lunch in my guidance center at school. Um, and I would just like run and hide during lunch because I just couldn't handle anyone knowing that I couldn't eat properly. Because that's what I thought they would take it as, is there was something wrong with me and that I was flawed. And for the longest time, I was just in that mindset that everyone was going to, like, all my friends would disown me, they would not talk to me, they would, it'd become the thing around the school and everyone would know, and my whole life would go crashing down. And I was very anxious about this the whole time. Sorry about the cuckoo clock. Very anxious about this because, like, I have very bad anxiety, and like I would get myself so worked up that then I had to keep it a secret. Um, but about half a year into recovery, I was in a group therapy setting, and it was with five other girls who were the best. Like, I can't even. Oh my gosh! Like they were amazing. The group was supposed to last 8 weeks, but we went for um, March, April, May, June, July. We went for 6 months. We really had fun in this group. But the girls in the group basically showed me and taught me that I can be supported and that I deserve that type of support. And it was awesome because I could go to group therapy, and these are girls who they were a little bit older than me, 19, 18, and I was 16 at the time. And so there was like a slight age barrier, but like I'm talking to these girls and having them be there, me being able to say, "I really need your support. I've been restricting all day. I don't know what to do for dinner." And they just came in instantly, and it was like the best thing. And I think it was because of that group that I really thought of the notion of actually telling somebody. Like for the first time, like for so long it was, "Oh my gosh, I just can't tell anyone." But then it was like, wait, like I'm friends with this person. Maybe I can just tell them. And so over the summer, as my group therapy was ending, um, I I was very anxious because I was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm going to lose that support. What's going to happen to me?" Um, and I had my one friend over, and I just told her everything. I told her about my eating disorder. I told her about my cutting. I told her about my depression, my anxiety, everything. And oh my gosh, it was the biggest weight lifted off of my shoulders. Having somebody that I could talk to, especially because she has self-injured too, so she knows that mindset. She might not get the eating disorder as much, but having that mindset and kind of being like, "Oh my gosh, like somebody actually supports me." And she was just an amazing support. Like she was one of those friends who I wasn't very, very close with per se, but she was just always there. Like over the years, because of my eating disorder, I was isolating myself and basically like it was ridiculous, like not keeping in contact with people. I lost a lot of friendships, and so that was like really hard to deal with. But she was one of those people who was just like there, and like having her be there was just like so helpful. Um, so I told her, and that was like amazing. She was one of the best supports. I mean, I still have her support, but she always tells me that I can just call her up, and there have been times when I call her up and I say, look, I really want to cut right now. Or there was this one day specifically, I remember I called her up and said, I I'm doing really bad in my eating disorder, and I want to restrict and stuff. And she was like, come over, and like I went over to her house, and like we ate together, and it was so nice because I was like, oh, you're so awesome. Hearts out to her. She's watching this. Oh, heart. Um, but yeah, so that was like a really awesome positive experience. I had actually also, I drive a girl to school each day, and so I told her, and she just didn't really get it. And she's been there and like really like helping, but like doesn't really get it. So it's kind of like she kind of understands where I've been through, what I've been through, and like why I'm so in love with psychology and why I'm really passionate about helping other people. And so that's nice, like to have that like fill in the blanks, like, oh my gosh, the look on their faces when I tell them. They're like, oh my gosh, I feel so stupid. Everything was so obvious. Like, and they're thinking, they're like, I can't believe it. I see it all. And they're like connecting the dots. And I actually, like, it was funny. I told my other friend, um, and she actually was like, oh yeah, my mom asked over the summer if you had one because I went over to her house for a week and I brought my own food with me. And I didn't think that that was irrational at all. I thought, oh, everyone would bring their own food with them if they're going to stay a week at a friend's house. But yeah, so the people that I've told have been really supportive and have been there. Um, it's not the same that I had in the group therapy setting, but because of the group that I was in, it made it that much easier to tell people. And I think that their reactions were not what I was expecting at all. They just were so welcoming and so accepting, even though they didn't really get it, and like were confused on like what led me to that. They still were able to like talk to me and like kind of recognize where I was at, give or take a little, but say, oh my gosh, like she's in a really bad place right now and she just needs somebody to be there for her. And also, I wouldn't say they treated me differently. I would think that they didn't treat me differently. I think that they're just more conscious. Like I was eating lunch with the girl I drive to school with, and so like there'd be days where I like saw her looking over and seeing what I was eating and things like that, and yeah, like having them look and be like, oh well, she ate a rational lunch today, so does that mean she's cured? Like, it's weird. Um, but yeah, with their reactions, because I had positive reactions, I didn't have much to deal with in terms of having them freak out and not believe me. Um, I do know, like, one of the girls in my group therapy, that happened to her where people just were not supportive of her. And in that instance, it's like, are they really worth it? Like, the friendship is based upon supporting one another. I know I'm very close with Susie, who has been doing TogetherweR Saturdays, and we message all the time. And of course, we live on different continents, and our friendship like should never have existed. And yet, we're able to talk, and we're like, wow, like the support that we are able to have for each other. And we still have like running jokes, and like we tell random stories, and like all that. And so we have this friendship that's awesome, but it's rooted in support. And I think that's what like real friendships are called to be. And so if you tell somebody and they don't necessarily have that reaction, um, just kind of consider like, are they supportive in any way, or is it like kind of like you feel ostracized by them? Like, that's something to consider. So the question of the week is, where do you see yourself in 5 years? As you guys know, I am really, really in love with psychology. I am looking at, well, right now I am in high school. I have this year and the next year left before I move to university. Um, and I'm looking at going to school in the UK. I'm so excited. But I'm looking to go to school over there, study psychology. I would love to go into creative art therapy. Would love to work in an eating disorder inpatient facility. Like, that would be like my dream job. And like that's where I want to be, and I want to be fully recovered. I want to not have to go, like right now I'm still at that point in my recovery where I have to go to therapy each week, but I want to be at the point where I don't necessarily need that support because I'm able to gain that support from myself, and from my friends. Um, and so I think that's really like what I'm hoping to do. I'm hoping to just dive into my passion and like go full out. Like I think the one thing that's interesting is because I've had an eating disorder so young and like have already had the mindset and I'm working on recovery, I'm so more self-aware than I would have been at this age had I not have suffered through my eating disorder. And I think that because I've seen how like, I know it sounds cheesy, but like valuable my life is, because like the life that I was living before with my eating disorder was not a life. It was just living in hell. And now like seeing how valuable that is, I'm just going at my passion with all of my might, and I'm like so excited to study psychology. So that is where I'm going. Um, so that's what I'll be doing in 5 years, and of course I hope that I'll have my YouTube channel still up and running in 5 years. But okay, well I can't wait to hear what the other girls have to say, and I will see you guys next Monday. Bye.